The wedding was perfect, at least for everyone watching. The Kim mansion was decorated with white roses and golden lights. The guest whispers excitedly, but none of it calmed Jungkook's pounding heart. Jungkook nervously holding bucket. This is real. I'm marrying Kim Taehyung, the cold heart everyone talks about. He walked into the main hall where Taehyung stood in a black tuxedo, hands in pockets, face blank like a carved statue. His sharp jawline, intense eyes, and that unreadable aura made everyone nervous. He didn't smile, not even once. Priest, do you, Jeon Jungkook, accept Kim Taehyung as your lawful wedded husband? Jungkook, I do. Priest, do you, Kim Taehyung, accept Jeon Jungkook as your lawfully wedded husband? I do. The crowd clapped, thinking it was a business marriage, and maybe it was. Jungkook's family and Taehyung's family planned it, knowing Taehyung wasn't the loving type. Some relatives whispered, relative one mocking whisper, poor boy marrying the ice prince. Relative two snickering. He won't last a month. Jungkook heard everything but stayed quiet. His parents squeezed his hand reassuringly. Later, after all the ceremonies, Jungkook followed Taehyung into the big mansion. The door shut. Silence filled the air. Taehyung removed his coat slowly, not even glancing at Jungkook. Taehyung called on. This is your room, Jungkook started. Huh? But Taehyung, weird, but I don't like sharing my space. You will stay here, do what you want. You don't accept. Expect affections. He turned and walked away like a storm. Jungkook stood there blinking, Jungkook whispering to himself. So this is how it is. Days passed. Taehyung was polite but distant. At breakfast, he sat like a CEO, calm, silent, sipping his coffee. Jungkook tried starting conversation. Jungkook trying to smile. Taehyung without looking either. Jungkook awkward laugh. Okay. At night, Taehyung stayed in his study working. He barely talked. Jungkook sometimes peeked in, only to find him surrounded by papers looking like a sculpture in a museum. Jungkook watching quietly. He really doesn't smile, not even once. On even one evening, Jungkook was on the balcony watching stars, feeling lonely. It wasn't like Taehyung was mean. He just didn't let anyone in. Jungkook softly to himself, maybe this is how it will always be. Behind him, Taehyung appeared silently. Taehyung called on, it's late, go sleep. Jungkook turning, oh, okay, good night, Taehyung, short night. Then he disappeared like smoke, but that night something unexpected happened. Jungkook fell asleep on the couch, too tired to change. In the middle of the night, Taehyung came down, saw him curled up like a puppy. He stood there for a moment, staring quietly, his eyes softened for a second. Something no one else noticed. His sign picking up a soft blanket and carefully covered Jungkook. Taehyung soft whisper almost to himself, idiot, you will catch a cold. Then he gently brushed Jungkook's bang off his forehead. But moved a little. Taehyung stepped back and his cold mask returned instantly. He walked away without a sound. Jungkook half opened his eyes, feeling the warm weight of the blanket. Jungkook whispered, smiling faintly, you are not as cold as you act, are you? For the first time his heart fluttered. The next morning, sunlight poured through the big glass windows of the Kim mansion. Jungkook started resembling the warm blanket that mysteriously covered him last night. Jungkook soft smiled to himself, so it wasn't a dream. He stood up, folded the blanket neatly, and went to the kitchen. The house staff was busy preparing breakfast, but Jungkook liked helping them. It made him feel less lonely. Maid, Mr. Jeon, you don't have to. Jungkook cutting softly. Please call me Jungkook and I want to help. It's nice. Meanwhile, Theo came down the stairs wearing his usual black suit. His aura was calm but distant, like always. He walked past everyone, sat at the head of the table, and opened a file. Jungkook placed pancakes in front of him nervously. Jungkook smiling softly. Good morning, Theon, without looking up. Morning. Silence followed. Jungkook sat opposite, trying not to stare. He noticed something though Theon didn't push the plate away, he actually took a bite. Jungkook's eyes widened slightly. It was the first time Theon ate what he cooked. Jungkook whispering. He liked it. Theon glanced up briefly, catching Jungkook's expression for a split second. The corner of his lips almost curved up. But then he went back to reading. Later that evening, Jungkook walked past Theon's study. He heard light coughing. Jungkook worried Theon. He pushed the door slightly and peeked inside. Theon was sitting rubbing his temple, papers scattered. His eyes looked tired. Jungkook softly. You have been working for hours, Theon called on. I'm used to it, Jungkook. Still, you should eat something. He stepped in and placed a tray of soup and snack beside him. Theon glanced at it, surprised no one had ever entered his study like that. Theon, raising brow. You didn't have to, Jungkook gently. I know, but I wanted to. Their eyes met briefly. Taehyung blinked slowly, then lowered his gaze. Taehyung quietly. Thanks. It was the first time thanks Jungkook had heard from him. Jungkook smiling softly. You are welcome. The night Jungkook was blow drying his hair in the bathroom when he heard soft knock. Jungkook come in. Taehyung step inside, hair dripping wet, holding the hair dryer awkwardly. Taehyung cold tone but shy. It broke in my room. Jungkook blinking. Huh? Taehyung, can I use yours? Jungkook handed it to him, but Taehyung just stood there, looking confused by the buttons. Jungkook giggling softly. You don't know how to use it? Taehyung defensive. I usually let staff do it. Jungkook shaking his head, smiling. Come here, I will help. He gently pulled Taehyung to sit on the stool. Taehyung froze for a moment, unused to someone touching him so casually. The sound of the dryer filled the bathroom. Jungkook carefully dried his hair, running fingers through the soft brown strands. Taehyung's usual cold expression softened unknowingly. Taehyung thinking silently. Jungkook looked focused, then lips pouting slightly as he worked. Taehyung stared at his reflection in the mirror. Jungkook behind him, glowing like a quiet angel. Taehyung, quietly, why are you so nice to me? Jungkook surprised. Because you are my husband, Taehyung. Everyone avoids me, Jungkook, meeting his eyes through mirror. I don't care what everyone says, I will decide for myself. That answer did something inside Taehyung. For the first time, his heart skipped slightly. The next day, Jungkook walked into the living room to find Taehyung waiting near the door, dressed casually, a rare sight. Jungkook confused. Are you going out, Taehyung? Sure. I will drop you to your dance practice. Jungkook shocked. Wait, what? You never, Taehyung? I know. Jungkook blinked rapidly, then hurried to grab his bag. In the car, silence filled the air as usual, but this time Taehyung turned on the heater for Jungkook because it was cold outside. He didn't say anything, but his actions spoke louder. Jungkook glanced at him, hiding a small smile. Jungkook, soft whispers to himself, you are changing, are not you? That night, Jungkook once again fell asleep on the couch while reading a book. Came down for water and found him there. Without hesitation, Taehyung picked up a blanket again, crouched beside Jungkook and brushed his bangs away gently. Taehyung, soft whisper, why are you always on this couch, little bunny? Jungkook's eyelashes fluttered, but he pretended to sleep, wanting to see what he would do. Taehyung hesitated for a second, then he leaned closer and pressed a feather-like kiss on Jungkook's forehead. Jungkook's heart pounded in his chest, but he didn't move. Taeyong stood up quickly, face slightly red, even though no one saw him. He walked upstairs, muttering under his breath. Taeyong whispering, "Stupid, why did I do that?" Next morning, Jungkook woke up with the same warm feeling on his forehead. He touched it gently, blushing. Jungkook to himself, shy smile. He kissed me. At breakfast, he decided to tease lightly Jungkook instantly. Taeyong, did you come downstairs last night? Taeyong almost choking on coffee. What? Jungkook smirking softly. "Hmm, nothing." Taeyong glared coldly to hide his embarrassment, but Jungkook saw the tips of his ear turning red. For the first time since their marriage, the cold house felt a little warm. Days turned into weeks, and slowly something inside the cold Kim Taeyong started shifting. On the outside, he was still the same, emotionless, eyes quiet tone, formal clothes, people trembling whenever he walked into a room, but behind closed doors, only Jungkook saw another side. It was Sunday morning. Jungkook was humming softly in the kitchen, wearing a loose white t-shirt, preparing breakfast. The warm smell of toast and eggs filled the air. Taeyong walked in here messy, wearing his nightwear. Something no one in the world would believe he even owned. He looked soft, Jungkook, turning around. Good morning, Taeyong yawning. Morning. Instead of sitting at the table, Taeyong walked straight toward Jungkook and stood behind him silently. Jungkook blinked confused. Taeyong. Jungkook turning slightly. What? Before he could finish, Taeyong grabbed his arm around Jungkook's waist from behind, resting his chin on his shoulder. Jungkook froze, heart skipping. Jungkook stammering. Taeyong, mumbling half asleep. Don't move. Warm. Jungkook's cheeks flushed instantly. He stood still while flipping the egg. Taeyong held him tighter, closing his eyes like a big spoiled baby. Jungkook, soft laugh. You are acting like a kid. Taeyong murmuring, only with you. The last whispers made Jungkook's chest flutter. Later, when Jungkook finished cooking, he turned around to find Taeyong sitting on the chair, waiting like a child for food to be served. Jungkook placing plate. You could have started. Taeyong pouting slightly. No, you feed me. Jungkook almost dropped his spoon. Jungkook's surprise. What feed? You are not serious. Taeyong calm but with soft voice. I am. Jungkook signed dramatically but sat down beside him. He picked up a spoonful of rice and held it out. Taeyong, opened his mouth obediently like a little kid. Jungkook couldn't stop giggling at the sight of the cold hire of the Kim family being this soft. Jungkook teasing, wow, who knew the cold Taehyung ears like a baby? Taehyung narrowing his eyes. Say that again, I won't let you sleep tonight. Jungkook blushing instantly. What does that mean? Taehyung smirked a little. Taehyung low, feed me angel. Jungkook's breath hitched. He obediently continued feeding him, heart racing the whole time. That evening, Jungkook was drying his hair after a shower when suddenly Taehyung barged into the room with a towel over his head. Taehyung, cold tone but soft eyes. Right, Jungkook rolling his eyes. You know you can do it yourself, Taehyung. Dead serious. I don't want to. Jungkook sighed, sat him down, and began drying his hair gently. Taehyung closed his eyes, relaxing completely like he trusted Jungkook with his entire being. Jungkook softly smiling. You act like the world doesn't exist when you are with me. Taehyung eyes closed because it doesn't. Only you do. Jungkook's hand froze mid-air. His heart thumped loudly at those unexpected words. Taehyung didn't say it romantically. It came out naturally like a truth. Jungkook whispering shyly, "You are so different when it's just us." Taehyung opening his eyes. "I don't trust people. I trust you." Jungkook laughed, cheeks turning pink. That evening they went to small family dinner as usual. The relatives whispered about Taehyung's being emotionless and unromantic, but what they didn't know was that under the table Taehyung was holding Jungkook's hand tightly the whole time. Jungkook whispering, smiling. "You're holding it too tight." Taehyung whispering back. "I don't want them looking at you for too long." Jungkook laughing softly, possessive much. Taehyung, low voice, very. On the way home, Taehyung suddenly stopped Jungkook in the hallway. He pressed Jungkook gently against the wall, not aggressively, just enough to make Jungkook's heart race. Taehyung low voice, gaze locked. "You smile too much at them." Jungkook giggling nervously. "They are family." Taehyung soft whispers near his ear. "I don't care. You are mine, only mine." Taehyung soft but intense. "Only I get to see this face like this." Then he kissed Jungkook slowly, not rushed, not aggressive, just full of warmth and possession. Jungkook's hand slid up to Taehyung's shoulder, pulling him closer. It was their first real kiss that burned deep into both of them. Jungkook's soft breath against his lips. Taehyung whispering, "Mine." They stood there in the dim hallway, breathing against each other's lips, forehead touching, hearts beating fast. That night they stayed in each other's arms. The light went off and soft laughter filled the room. Quiet whispers of "I'm yours" and "Don't let go" echoed between them. Their bodies tangled under the sheets, warm, replacing the old cold distance. The world outside still thought Kim Tae-young was an untouchable ice prince, but inside that room he melted completely. The early morning sunlight fell gently on the soft white sheets, painting a golden glow on Theon's sharp features. He was laying on the stomach, head turned towards Jungkook, who was sleeping beside him with messy hair and a pout on his lips. Theon slowly shifted closer, resting his chin on Jungkook's shoulder like a child hugging his favorite plushie. Theon soft whispers. Angel, wake up, Jungkook's eyes half open. Young, 5 more minutes. Theon paused dramatically, nuzzling against him. No, don't sleep. I want to eat with you. Jungkook blinked his eyes fully now, surprised by how clingy Taehyung was in the morning. The cold, quiet man everyone feared turned into a completely baby around him. Jungkook giggling softly. "You are like the baby in the morning." Taehyung laughing his waist tightly, hugging his waist tightly. "Only your baby." Jungkook's heart fluttered. He rubbed Taehyung's messy hair gently. Jungkook, "Okay, I will get up, but you have to brush your teeth first." Taehyung pouting. "Together." Jungkook amused. "Yes, together." They walked to the bathroom. Taeyong stood beside Jungkook, brushing while watching Jungkook in the mirror with soft eyes. Jungkook felt shy but happy after brushing. Taeyong followed Jungkook everywhere like a shadow. Kitchen, closest, living room. Jungkook trying his apron. "I will make breakfast," Ko said Taeyong, hugging him from behind, chin on Jungkook's shoulder. "No, I will help. Tell me what to do." Jungkook laughing. "You help. Last time you almost burned the eggs." Taeyong, pretending to be offended. "I can learn for you." Jungkook soft smile. "Okay, okay, sit." Stirred the milk softly. Jungkook nodded like Taeyong nodded like serious student and started stirring him. After breakfast, Jungkook went to dry his hair, but Taeyong quickly come with the towel. Taeyong, "No, I will do it." Jungkook raising a brow. "You don't have to." Taeyong gently pushing him to sit. "Shh, Angel deserved to be pampered." Taeyong softly dried Jungkook's hair using gentle strokes carefully, as if he was handling something precious. Jungkook sat still, heart beating fast as unexpected sweetness. Jungkook whispering, "Why are you so sweet only to me?" Theon leaning closer, his voice low and sincere. "Because only you make me feel alive." Jungkook, "To others I'm ice, but to you I melt." Jungkook's cheeks turned pink, eyes widening at the intensity in Theon's gaze. Later in the day, Theon had to attend a family lunch at the Kim mansion. Jungkook joined them. As they entered the huge living room, Jungkook smiling softly, always. Later that evening, after the event, Taehyung dropped Jungkook home in the silence, but the silence wasn't heavy. It was warm, unspoken feelings. The moment they entered their room, Taehyung suddenly pulled Jungkook into a tight embrace. No words, just holding him like he was scared to let go. Jungkook surprised, whispering, "Tai, Taehyung," voice trembling slightly. "No one has ever defended me like you. You looked at them all, and you stood for me. Jungkook, you don't know what that means to me." Jungkook wrapped his arm around Taehyung's neck, looking up at him with gentle eyes. They spent the rest of the night cuddled on the bed. Theon rested his head on Jungkook's chest, eyes closed in peace. Theon mumbling, "I don't care what they say anymore. As long as I have you, I'm fine." Jungkook stroked his ears gently. "Jungkook, and you will always have me." Jungkook smiling softly, always. Later that evening, after the event, Taehyung drove Jungkook home in the silence, but the silence wasn't heavy. It was warm, unspoken feelings. The moment they entered their room, Taehyung suddenly pulled Jungkook into a tight embrace. No words, just holding him like he was scared to let go. Jungkook surprised, whispering, "Tai, Taehyung," voice trembling slightly. "No one has ever defended me like you. You looked at them all, and you stood for me." Jungkook, you don't know what that means to me. Jungkook wrapped his arm around Taehyung's neck, looking up at him with gentle eyes. They spent the rest of the night cuddled on the bed. Theon rested his head on Jungkook's chest, eyes closed in peace. Theon mumbling, "I don't care what they say anymore. As long as I have you, I'm fine." Jungkook stroked his ears gently. "Jungkook, and you will always have me." Jungkook smiling softly, always. Later that evening, after the event, Taehyung drove Jungkook home in the silence, but the silence wasn't heavy. It was warm, unspoken feelings. The moment they entered their room, Taehyung suddenly pulled Jungkook into a tight embrace. No words, just holding him like he was scared to let go. Jungkook surprised, whispering, "Tai, Taehyung," voice trembling slightly. "No one has ever defended me like you. You looked at them all, and you stood for me." Jungkook, you don't know what that means to me. Jungkook wrapped his arm around Taehyung's neck, looking up at him with gentle eyes. They spent the rest of the night cuddled on the bed. Theon rested his head on Jungkook's chest, eyes closed in peace. Theon mumbling, "I don't care what they say anymore. As long as I have you, I'm fine." Jungkook stroked his ears gently. "Jungkook, and you will always have me." Jungkook smiling softly, always. Later that evening, after the event, Taehyung drove Jungkook home in the silence, but the silence wasn't heavy. It was warm, unspoken feelings. The moment they entered their room, Taehyung suddenly pulled Jungkook into a tight embrace. No words, just holding him like he was scared to let go. Jungkook surprised, whispering, "Tai, Taehyung," voice trembling slightly. "No one has ever defended me like you. You looked at them all, and you stood for me." Jungkook wrapped his arm around Taehyung's neck, looking up at him with gentle eyes. They spent the rest of the night cuddled on the bed. Theon rested his head on Jungkook's chest, eyes closed in peace. Theon mumbling, "I don't care what they say anymore. As long as I have you, I'm fine." Jungkook stroked his ears gently. "Jungkook, and you will always Jungkook smiling softly, always. Later that evening, after the event, Taehyung drove Jungkook home in the silence, but the silence wasn't heavy. It was warm, unspoken feelings. The moment they entered their room, Taehyung suddenly pulled Jungkook into a tight embrace. No words, just holding him like he was scared to let go. Jungkook surprised, whispering, "Tai, Taehyung," voice trembling slightly. "No one has ever defended me like you. You looked at them all, and you stood for me. Jungkook, you don't know what that means to me." Jungkook wrapped his arm around Taehyung's neck, looking up at him with gentle eyes. They spent the rest of the night cuddled on the bed. Theon rested his head on Jungkook's chest, eyes closed in peace. Theon mumbling, "I don't care what they say anymore. As long as I have you, I'm fine." Jungkook stroked his ears gently. "Jungkook, and you will always have me."